Well, most of it was shot by a guy named Paul Ferrara, who came on tour with us. He just followed us around wherever we went. And, you know, I wish we had more of it, but it's all we got. So, lucky we had it.
You know, Jim and Ray had met at film school at UCLA. Jim had a bachelor's degree in film, graduated, and Ray graduated with a master's in film. And Paul Ferrara and their friend Frank Luciangio were friends of theirs from film school. So these guys were all cinephiles and film fanatics. Whoops. So they were always involved in film, and that footage you saw of Jim in the car, Desert, was from a film that Jim shot on his own in 1969 called Highway, which was based on a script Jim wrote called The Hitchhiker, which is also where the song Riders in the Storm derived from. Do we have any questions from you guys? Yes.
I wish I knew. Okay, the question was, what was the inspiration for writing Light My Fire? And mainly, I was trying to, you know, that was the first song I wrote for the Doors, and up till then, Jim was writing the songs. So I figured, well, I got to write something pretty heavy duty to compete with Jim. So I said, I'll write something about the four elements: earth, air, fire, water. And I picked fire. Well, the question was, Jim was a mentor to me, kind of, and he kind of taught me how to write songs, at least the words. And what was my most favorite story about that was probably at one time I was still living at home, so and my parents left town for a couple weeks, so I had Jim stay over at my house. It might have been a mistake.
I can't wait to hear.
Yeah, we had a great time writing songs, and that's where we wrote a whole bunch of stuff, including The End. The End was just a love song when it first started. It was just, this is the end, beautiful friend. And as we played it in person, it would get longer and longer until that night at the Whiskey when the Oedipal part came out. Anybody else? Yeah, I did have a point. Well, that'll be in my book, which I'm writing right now. You can read about that. What was the first part of the question? The Doors movie. How did I like the Doors movie? I did like the Doors movie. You know, I worked on it as an advisor, and if you ever remember the part about when we wrote Light My Fire, that was kind of my idea that I asked Oliver to do. And I basically wanted the musical parts of the movie to be true to life, and they really were. They really tried hard to recreate the concert scenes in that movie as true to life as possible. You know, there was some stupid stuff in the movie, but you know, I thought for a Hollywood movie about rock and roll, it was pretty damn good.
Yes, sir.
Well, Jim was always weird. I mean, from the very first time I met him, he was weird. And we had a very first rehearsal I went to. You know, he was cool, and we were singing and doing, you know, the music was great. After the rehearsal, some guy comes in and Jim grabs him, throws him in this room, and it sounded like he was going to kill the guy or something, you know. Jesus Christ, this is my lead singer. Turned out it was just over a dope deal, you know. Bad dope deal.
Any question? Yeah.
Well, I mean, the question was about Jim's death and what, we don't really know exactly what happened because he was over there in Paris, and Anne was the only one who really knew what happened, and unfortunately, she died about a year later. Yes, she was like totally heartbroken and got into hard drugs, and she was gone in a year. It was terrible. Aspirations. So what happened? Because if Jim had lived, boy, I wish he had. I really do, because I think of all the songs we could have wrote, and movies to be made, and the guy was a genius. So it was a big blow to all of us, really, when he died.
Let me ask you guys a question. Did you feel like you got a better vision and a picture of Jim out of this movie?
Yeah.
No, you heard it correctly. Narration? Oh, yeah, well, when we first did the film, it was about a 4-year process, and we spent all of 2009 going to film festivals all over the world, and we wanted Johnny Depp to narrate this from the very beginning. We just couldn't get things arranged, and so we recorded the narration with the director, Tom Chillo, and our choice then was, okay, do we pull out of all these film festivals and wait and see what happens, or do we just move forward and see what happens? And so we chose to move forward, and it wasn't until the Los Angeles Film Festival, I think in August of last year, we were able to premiere the film with the narration in it. That's how you see it now. Yes. That's a good question.
We do have a soundtrack album that's going to come out, and it's got, obviously in the movie there's only part of songs. In the record, it will be the whole song. And a lot of poetry by Johnny Depp that he recorded, of Jim's poetry later, that he recorded after doing the movie. It's really going to be a great record.
I actually want to underline that for a second. We were able to go back to Johnny Depp. We wanted to make a soundtrack that was really special. I think a lot of soundtracks can tend to be boring, or they're there just because the film's there. We really wanted this to mean something. And so working with Bruce Botnick again, we were able to get Johnny to go on his boat, and we lit all these candles, and at 2 in the morning he sat down and he recited all this Morrison poetry, and this is magic. And it's unbelievable. And Bruce took that poetry and he weaved it in between the songs and over the beginning of the end, with some sound effects under it. And you listen to this whole thing beginning to end. We're actually going to sell it on iTunes as an album-only download. We're not dividing any of the songs because it's kind of one continuous thing. And the soundtrack that's coming April 6th is actually, I'm as proud of that as anything I have done involved with you guys. I think it's stellar. I'm so proud of it.
After Jim died, you mean? Yes. Well, yeah, I mean, the 3 of us continued to record after Jim died. We did 2 albums, and we thought about getting a lead singer, but it didn't really make sense right away. But after the second album we did, we said, yeah, Ray and I are not the greatest singers, let's face it, come on. So maybe we should get a singer. It's been 2 years, 3 years. So we actually went over to London, and we all moved over to London. We said, well, maybe we'll find a singer over here. And we talked about Iggy Pop, and we never did get around to trying him out. I don't know whether he would have wanted to do it or not. There was Howard Worth was one of the guys we talked about. The guy from Free, Paul Rogers. But we never really got to try anybody out because Ray's wife was pregnant, and she kind of freaked out, and Ray decided to go back to LA, and that's when the 3 of us kind of broke up the Doors.